apologize. I didn't know we were having any walk-in clients today. Yeah, normally we are appointment only, but on the weekends we do accept walk-ins, so it is your lucky day.
Why, hello there,
What
friend.
brings you in? What can I get started for you? I do need to warn you
I haven't seen you in quite a long time.
And the next
What brings you
45
here
minutes,
today?
So we can't
I
do
bet
anything
you
too
need something
extensive.
from me, don't you?
Did you want
Oh, you
maybe
humans
clean
are
up
all the same.
that facial hair?
Always bending
I
to
didn't
your
want to
own
see
will and that of no one
It
else.
looks like it could use a little bit of a trim.
No matter.
Your
I
hair looks
enjoy
like it could use
nothing
some
more than to be of
Did you
service
wanna-
to you.
Do a little bit of both
So,
today?
tell me,
Yeah.
what seems to be the trouble today?
We could do like a shampoo
How may I
and
assist you
trim up top,
with your human
and
needs,
then
wishes,
can
desires?
give you a nice shave.
Do tell.
and
I'm all
maybe a
ears.
facial massage. We do have a plethora of luxury services
Oh.
here if you're interested in hearing.
Trouble with love.
Yeah. We got some nice
That is a
CBD
pickle.
face masks and some nice magnesium butter that I could apply.
Well, unfortunately,
Are
no,
you
I
interested in either
can't
of
quite say
those?
that I do understand. Mainly because
Okay.
rejection doesn't
Yeah,
quite
I'll do
exist
my
in elf culture the
Best
same
to get
as
it
it
all
does with
done within the
humans.
45 minutes that I have.
No, we've
No
developed
promises,
tools to work
but
ourselves around that
like I said, I'll do
silly
my
old
best.
feeling of
Oh
rejection.
my gosh, I am being
What
so
an awful thing to
By
deal
the
with.
way, my name is May.
Would you like to hear our secret?
Yeah, it's a
We
pleasure.
must promise not to tell
It's
anyone, though
spelled
it is very, very ancient
actually,
tradition,
not
and
May like the month.
many of our elven monarchies have been started this way.
Oh, really?
It's very, very
And
important
who do I
that you
remind you
keep
of?
this between us. Do you solemnly swear on your life
Gosh,
you
it
won't
is
tell
a
anyone?
small world.
Hmm?
Do you want to know something?
Alright, that was only slightly convincing, but
So,
I'll
those
go
two
for it.
are
What have I got to lose,
actually my
really?
first
I've
cousins.
already been outcasted by most of the elven
Sure.
clan, so shouldn't
Yeah,
really matter too
Shay
much to me, I
is a
suppose,
little
if
bit of
one
a
or two more of
firecracker.
them don't mind
Not
my
as close with
presence.
her as I am with Cherie.
Ever since we can
I
all
love them both
remember,
dearly.
we've been
It's
making
so funny
a
that
sort
you
of a
know.
love
How did you
potion
meet?
to help win over the hearts of those
Oh,
that we
I
seek and fancy.
Yeah, that is so
Yes.
typical of her to still be
In the
over
dark and quiet hours
That
of
girl
the
does
night,
not know when
we
to let
will
things go.
join together for a ceremony of
She's
said
so,
love
so
potion,
quirky.
and
Well, anyway,
we will sneak in
let's
to the
go
room
ahead and
of the person
get
we
you
would like to
set
fall in love
up.
with us, and
I am
quietly,
gonna have
very
you
gently,
sit right
and
here where you are.
especially carefully,
I'm gonna
because
need you to
the
maybe,
misuse of
tip
this
your
potion
head back
has
a
some
little bit, though, so I
very
can
undesirable
there.
side
make
effects,
sure
to say the
everything's nice
least.
and cleaned
Yes.
up. And
We'll go
get you
in
some
and
nice
take a small
lavender
vial of the
shampoo,
potion and
nice and
gently
sudsy.
drop some into their
Lots of
mouth as they
bubbles.
slumber.
What
When
else
they
do I
awaken,
do? Oh yeah,
they're suddenly in
nice
love,
face mask.
and
How could I
they're none the
forget?
wiser of how it
CBD is
occurred.
really
Although
effective,
some
and
elves have
it's,
started to
good
develop
for
a
my
suspicion
sensitive
with the
skin,
increasing knowledge of
shouldn't
the
irritate you
potions.
or nothing like that.
Mm. Nonetheless,
Alright, well, I'll
when
give
you
a
wake up
second
in
to get
heartfelt
yourself
infatuation
situated.
for
Nice
someone
and
you've never
comfortable.
looked at like that
I
before,
will be back
it does strike a chord of curiosity in many elves,
We will
and
reconvene from there.
instead of
Does that sound good?
questioning it, they decide usually
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
pursue,
Oh,
and most
by
of the
way,
time
our
end up
prices here
staying
are
together for
a
the
little
rest
bit
of their
on the upper
elven
end.
lives.
Is that alright for you?
It is honestly a very beautiful thing, and
Oh,
as I said
well,
earlier,
alright.
many
If
elven
money's no
monarchies
problem,
started
won't
this
ask
way.
again.
The potion is very
I'll see you
powerful and
in-
very, very potent, so we must be very careful not to give it to the wrong hands. It's it's a very, very nerve-wracking thing to think about. So I'm just going to assume that you're responsible. Aren't you? Yes.
For waiting for me,
Well, good.
I need to.
Do you have any questions for me before we get started? It seems like you're interested in the idea of making a potion for your significant other. Well, soon to be, I should say. Even though you're not together quite yet, it will not take very long after the potion has started working its magic. Oh, do I need anything from you? Yes, actually I do. What a great first question. I would have almost forgotten, and then the potion would have been mainly useless for you. Hopefully you have these things on hand already. I mean, most dedicated lovers will have acquired them over the time that they're trying to pursue the person they'd like to give the potion to.
Make sure.
Do you have a strand of their hair by chance?
Working on your
Beautiful. And do you have a strand of your own?
You have very nice skin, by the way.
Yeah, it can be from when you were a child. It's the same DNA, usually.
Alright. I really do appreciate you.
Perfect. And I will also need a fleck of your fingernail as well as theirs. Did you happen to bring that along?
Does it look nice?
Oh, brilliant.
You like it?
And
Alright.
the last ingredient that I will need from both of you is a scale of skin. This is usually the hardest to acquire because a scale is quite a small thing. Well, if you have more than one, it will ruin the potion. So we only need one singular scale from both of you. Did you bring that? Wow. I will say I am impressed by your preparedness. Oh, certainly. Most humans don't come with much but an untied shoelace, so this is quite a pleasant surprise. We'll go ahead and collect those items from your belongings, and when you're ready, you can place them into my hands.
Lathered up for you before we put it in your hair.
Oh, thank you very much.
Are you ready?
I'm just going to sprinkle these into my mortar and pestle back here, okay? Just making sure that they're in our mix for later when we put all of the other ingredients in. Before I add them to the potion, though, I would like to explain what they are. I think it's particularly fascinating if you're willing to learn a little bit about the elven magic.
Any fun activities
Oh,
planned
how delightful.
the rest of this weekend?
What should we start with? Of course,
Sure, yeah.
one of my most prized possessions. This vessel
Hold this through.
contains some pre-packaged doses of a variety of herbs and spices that I've gathered from all over the realm, really. Yes, it has been my sheer pleasure to be able to collect them and create different varieties of blends for different potion purposes, of course. This one has a lot of different natural flowers and other plant varieties. It smells wonderful. Would you like to smell?
Me afterwards, alright?
Sure, take a whiff.
Might be a little bit easier.
Isn't it delightful?
I'm just gonna have you sit.
I will be setting a bag of this aside. And
Just bring your hair out.
huh?
I am
Oh,
going to go with
what is this one?
some of the soap.
It's actually a bit of a funny story.
Back.
This is a jar of pickled peppers, which doesn't really have much to do with our potion making, but this is a peck of pickled peppers that Peter Piper picked for me, actually. He's such a nice young lad, that Peter. So thoughtful, always giving me pecks of pickled peppers. They're said to be some of the spiciest in the land, however, and they do have to brine for another 2,000 years, so it will be quite some time until we get to enjoy them, but I'm very excited to consume one. Yes. He's quite the craftsman. I do very much enjoy his packaging, and I hope to receive more vessels from him in the future because I do feel like they make a nice addition in my collection. I love glass vessels. In fact, most of these were made by one artisan who I'm not friends with anymore, but I hold them near and dear because of that. The sentiment still stands. Good friends come and go, but their memories remain with us forever. It's a very special thing to have a friend. Anyway, this, as I'm sure you can tell by the sheer looks of it, is, of course, a jar of fairy dust, although it's a very coveted jar of fairy dust that I had to work very, very hard to acquire. The reason being is it's dust from the turn of the millennium, and not many fairies were producing dust during that time, partially because they were all partying, but I don't know if you can tell that there's two different hues of dust in here. The orange-yellow dust is from the fairies of the East. They have a much different diet than, per se, the fairies of the West, the ones who make the cleaner pink and white dust. That's kind of the classic fairy dust everyone is familiar with, but the orange-yellowy one from the East fairies is also very delectable, and it's got wonderful magical qualities, just like the fairies from the West. I mean, we really shouldn't discriminate as much as we do, but people have their preferences. You know how it goes. Everyone is just so silly with their notions and preconceived judgments about things. Oh, it's quite a hoot to me. I don't really mind very much. I'll take what I can get, and I'm very happy to have this.
Alright, look at me for a minute.
I am going to go ahead and mix it up for us, though, before we put it into your potion. I think I'd like you to have a blend of both the East and Western medicines, so...
Yeah, you can go ahead and look in the mirror. There. Yeah, you seem pretty happy with it.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
That should do the trick very nicely.
Facial hair.
One last look for you before I put it back on the shelf.
To the trim if we need to.
And last but not least,
I
have one of my favorite blends and concoctions.
I'll do that in just a little bit.
Can you guess what's in here?
Rush into it. I have this.
I know sometimes it's a little difficult to identify.
Container to put the shade
This.
in.
Oops. I always forget how putrid it smells. This container is filled with holy water and unicorn droppings, which is what gives it a quite interesting smell. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm very taken aback by the aroma. I know it doesn't affect humans the same way as it does elves, but our superior sense of smell just simply picks up on all of those sour notes. Anyway, unicorn droppings contain plenty magic. So that's why we have some in here today, although it's not as concentrated as batches I've made in the past. Yes. Well, now that you know all the ingredients, I suppose we could get started with making the potion for you. I'm going to grab my mortar and pestle, but it's made out of obsidian, so it's rather heavy and it might take me a moment. I do struggle quite a bit. I do apologize. Isn't it beautiful? I have your hair strands and nail flecks and scales of skin. How could I forget? I'm just going to go ahead and take one of my pre-portioned bags of herbs and rip it open so we can utilize the mixture for your potion. Beautiful. Just going to go ahead and pour it in.
Let's start with this.
And I'm going to grind this up with your hairs and nails and skin, just so everything is nice and mixed. Yes, that will do nicely. Would you like to see so far? Yes. What shall we do next? Perhaps our fairy dust? What do you think? Yes. Sure. We can put a decent amount of this in. Oh yes, I did mention that it contains a potent amount of magic, but the potion itself does have a lot as well, so whatever you'd like. In goes the fairy dust. Perhaps a little more would be in order. The fairy dust smells much better than the unicorn droppings, that's for sure. I'm gonna just put this back on the shelf. I like to keep my workshop pretty tidy when I'm making potions and spells and things. Cleanliness is close to godliness, that's what they say they used to sell. It's starting to look pretty good. Would you like to see? Very promising. I think we're ready to mix in our holy water and unicorn droppings. However, I'm going to mix them inside of this vessel so we don't have to let the smell escape for too long. I'm just going to take a pinch or two of our mixture that we've made and put it into here, and we'll shake it up, and hopefully I've done my proportioning correctly and we'll have you a nice love potion. And perhaps one more. Beautiful. Okay, let's see. Now, if I've done this correctly, this should slightly change color, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure what color it's supposed to turn. I just know it's not supposed to be clear anymore. Maybe I need a couple more pinches. Let's see. Alright, that looks good. Let's mix it a little bit more. I'm excited for you. I forgot to ask, did you bring something to put this in? This jar is very important and special to me, so I wouldn't really want to send it home with you. Did you bring a jar of your own? Fantastic. Oh, that's such a relief.
Get it off you soon.
Smells so much better now that everything's been mixed. Can I go ahead and pour it in for you? Thank you very much. Here you are. Make sure you take all of it. Of course, you're welcome. I'll go ahead and wash this out later. Oh, well, yeah, it's been a pleasure to help you. Is there anything that you wanted to discuss before you go? Oh, well, that's very sweet of you. I always forget that you humans have a celebration of love. You don't show much of it to each other, so sometimes I forget you're even capable of feeling it. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you, too. Oh, you're the sweetest thing. I really do hope that you'll come back and see me more often, and not just when you need something, but in general, for company. I mean, I'd like to think that we could eventually be friends, don't you? Well, make sure you don't tell them. Oh, wait. There's one more thing I should add. A bit of a warning or disclosure. Probably should have told you this at the beginning. You remember how I mentioned that this potion has side effects? It won't happen automatically. However, if you do decide to admit to the person that you gave the love potion that you did indeed give them a love potion, it will immediately activate the consequential side effects, which will result in you, the giver of the potion, convulsing uncontrollably and eventually dying. So I would recommend keeping it a secret if you can. Yeah. Out of curiosity, what is your crush or lover's name? Oh. Very interesting. No, it's nothing. I think that they were here recently, however. They were looking for a repellent spell to be done. What is a repellent spell? It's basically a spell that helps to keep someone away from you at all costs for the rest of eternity, but I'm sure that they didn't come to make that to use on you. No. I wouldn't think that that would be the case. A love potion will not counteract a repellent spell, so if you do find this to be ineffective, perhaps they've already snuck into your room in the middle of the night and dosed you with the repellent spell, but I really don't think that that is a plausible reality, so you mustn't worry, okay? I'm sure you'll be fine, and things are going to go so smoothly. Yes, so just make sure that you wait until the dark hours of the night. It's getting late. I've been watching the sun slowly set as we've been doing this, so the timing is almost correct for you to sneak into their room and drop a few drops of the potion into their slumbering mouth. And when they wake up, you two should be happily ever after, living in your love story. Hopefully. Well, that's all the advice I can really offer. I mean, I'm not a professional counselor or anything. I'm just a potion maker and a spellbinder, but certainly not a therapist. So you're gonna have to go see another specialist for that. I do so appreciate you stopping by, though. It's been a pleasure to be with you and have you in my company. Again, please come by more often and not just when you need something, okay? Oh, you make me blush. You're the sweetest. Well, toodaloo, and be sure to let me know how it goes, okay?
I'm sure the ladies
Oh,
will
yes, of course I can teleport you back to where you came from. I'm sorry for zapping you here unannounced, but you were calling out to me pretty strongly, so I figured I would answer and see what was going on with you. Alright, are you ready to return?
No, I don't take
3, 2,
I mean, I do as a form of payment, but not directly into my pocket like you're trying to give me right now. What do you think I am, a stripper? My God. I'm just playing with you. But seriously, don't be handing women money like that. It is offensive.